Hello, welcome to my computer programming final. The objective here was to create a simulation of a factory of movements via user inputs and other things with the Arduino and the Arduino IDE. So basically, if we take a look here, I have all my global variables right there. Right here, pertaining to pin numbers, finger pinch will be set to low, and then button state, and then all the counters set to 0. I have serial begin for the serial at 9600 baud. I have everything outputs and inputs. And then coming down here, serial print process rate waiting, followed by a do while loop to hold and wait until I punch in an input. And then this is my whole code right here for the void loop, and it involves a lot. It involves if statements for the counters. It involves printing out certain set verses for the to keep track of the parts in production and warehouse inventory, and it also has a lot of a lot of different statements and or functions such as drill, conveyor, compress, user input, conveyor, so on and so forth, and delays, and I have a blinking here, and then down here is where I defined all these functions. Conveyor, drill, compress is here, user is here, and then delay, and then I have 2 listen delays for both my pinch sensor and my button, which work well. This will all get commented afterwards, but let's see how this works. So I have serial monitor up and running, and here is the circuit I have. So obviously I have everything hooked up to its correct pin on the Arduino. I have it hooked up to 5 volts and ground. I have the motor here, which acts as both the drill and the conveyor, hooked up through its own power source as to not screw with the Arduino, through an opto-isolator, so it can still be connected to the Arduino, just not power source from the Arduino. I have the 9-volt battery powering the motor, and the motor's right here. I have the 2 LEDs that represent what's going on, so as functions are happening to the product, the green light turns on. When the conveyor belt is on, the red light turns on. And here I have the pressure sensor hooked up, and there is my button. So let's see how this works. And as you can see, the program has been waiting this entire time, process waiting. So let me punch in an input right here, and then it will count, and there is the motor going, and the red light is on, and there it stops as it is waiting for a user input for the drill. And you can see the parts in production and warehouse inventory are both in 0 right now because it just started. So let me punch in another input. Drilling in process, green light turns on, and sometimes this gets stuck. There we go. Awesome. And now, as you can see, it's waiting and waiting and waiting for the command for the pinch sensor. Waiting, waiting, waiting. And when I pinch it to a certain threshold, which is on this above 85, green light turns on, and this commences the conveyor belt again. And waiting for the button now. And when the button gets turned on, number of inputs, parts in production is currently in 3, warehouse inventory is 0. And then the blinking represents a part going into the warehouse, which you can see right here. Warehouse inventory is 1. Conveyor belt was going. So there it is basically. And then if I punched it again, you can see it will go again. And it says now that warehouse inventory is at 2, parts in production are at 3. So everything is basically going through the warehouse one at a time, even though only one sensor is going. The counters are keeping track of every little imaginary part in place, and will add to the warehouse inventory as it finishes through its path, while keeping parts of production will be staying at 3, simply because it didn't go up to 4 like it would have, because I have that in my code. And there it goes, and it will just keep going, waiting command to drill, and it will drill for me, and then back to there, and there you have it. There is my whole project. Thank you.